Hey Team FXG, hope you guys had a great weekend. Let's have a strong week ahead. We got 3 good analysis coming up today. Let's start on our first one, AUD.USD. We're gonna start on the monthly as usual. What are we looking for? That's right, area of horizontal sensitivity. So we identified our monthly upper, mid, and lower monthly zones. What do we do after we identify area sensitivity? We talk flow. Okay, so we see sellers had strong control, pushing right past our monthly mid-range zone straight to the downside. We see buy pressure enter at our monthly lower zone. This is expected due to historical buy sensitivity, buy protection to the downside. So after a push to the downside, we see what? An exhaustion to the upside, higher time frame, double confirmation. This is 2 sets of sell pressure entering the market, and then what? A continuational push to the downside. But what do we notice? Price is now again at our monthly lower zone. We know that there's going to be a lot of buy pressure, aka buy protection to the upside. So sellers are going to have a really hard time breaking this monthly lower zone to the downside. There will be some sort of impulse move to the upside because again, sellers are not just going to be able to break this monthly lower zone to the downside. So I'm expecting on the lower time frame injections of buy orders. Let's take it to the weekly for a closer look. All right, down to the weekly. We identified our weekly upper and our weekly lower zone. Now, I notice a lot of sell pressure when I look at flow here, okay? After a push to the downside, we know that there's an exhaustion to the upside, and exhaustion will usually begin at area of sensitivity. So here we have 2 areas where exhaustion could have began. Push to the downside, failure of exhaustion. Continuational push to the downside, we see minor exhaustion, but not a full and complete exhaustion. So because we do not see full and complete exhaustions at area of sensitivity, we just know that there's a lot of sell pressure in the market, and it's not a surprise that price has made it down to its monthly lower zone. But now we're about to reach an area of strong buy sensitivity, which has historically proven itself to have buy support. All right, down to the daily. Here we see a push to the downside, breaking our weekly lower zone to the downside. What's after a push to the downside? An exhaustion to the upside. Sellers re-entered the market. We see continuational push to our monthly lower zone, and we can see this push and exhaustion on the higher time frame. Okay, in summary, what do we know? We know that price is now touching our monthly lower zone. We know that there's going to be buy pressure in the market. We can already see that with strong pin bars. So what I want to do is look for potential opportunity to the upside, see if we can capitalize on a higher time frame impulse move due to the buy pressure at our monthly lower zone. So now let's take it to the 4H for a potential look to the upside. All right, down to the 4-hour time frame. Here's that strong continuational push we saw on the daily, okay? So when we take it to the 4H time frame, here we see that push. Price is now touching and reaching its lower monthly zone. Again, we know that there's going to be buy pressure. So what do we see? Well, we see buy pressure enter the market. Price made a push, breaking this downtrend to the upside. What's after a push to the upside? That's right, an exhaustion to the downside, where then we're looking for price action confirmation. This would be double confirmation, right? Confirmation 1 of buy sensitivity, confirmation 2 of buy sensitivity, before then an entry to the upside. So this is how your entry is going to look. Again, here's that 4H downtrend. We see impulse 1, first wave of buy pressure hit the market. We see a push to the upside. This is a push to the upside because it broke an area of sensitivity. What's after a push to the upside? An exhaustion to the downside. Guys, we're waiting now for price action confirmation before entry to the upside. That's a bullish, significant bullish engulfing candle close. So here's a question for you guys. How did I get TP1, TP2, and TP3 when there's no area of horizontal sensitivity to give us a good idea of where to place our targets? It comes down to one thing. It comes down to Fibonacci retracements. When we have such a distance, because our next area of real sell sensitivity is our weekly lower zone. Now, it would be a risky buy to place a buy down at our monthly lower zone and take profit at our weekly lower zone because there's a lot of space here for price to come against us, okay? So how do we add area sensitivity when we don't really have our zones to place our targets? We have to use the Fibonacci extension because we know that the 38.2, the 50, and the 61.8 area of Fib are area of sell or buy pressure. So by using our Fibonacci extension tool, marking it from our highest top to our lowest bottom, we can see that our TP1 is at 38.2% fib, TP2 is at 50, and TP3 is at 61.8% fib, because we know that these areas will be areas of sell sensitivity. That's why our targets are where they are. All right, team, that's it for Aussie USD. On to the next.